Hi, everyone. This is Alyssa Robbins from SADA, and we're happy to welcome you again today to our live stream webinar, Meet the Experts, Gmail, Transforming Your Virtual Workspace. We at SADA are here to offer our expertise as we all work together in our remote environments. And in the spirit of getting us all better at using our collaboration tools in our daily work, we've developed this weekly live streaming series, Sweet Bits, showcasing our incredible SADA experts and providing some much needed tips, tricks, and guidance around the capabilities of the G Suite portfolio. We hope these will empower you in your work at home life. You can submit questions to today's presenter at any point by clicking the link in the description below and typing your questions. We'll get to them at the end of the presentation. These sessions will be available following the live stream on our remote workforce hub that we call Cloud Quarters. It's a new section of our website, complete with a growing collection of productivity and collaboration resources just for you. Heather will talk about it more at the end of her session. I'd now like to introduce you to our expert for today's session, Heather Summers, Digital Transformation Manager at SADA. Take it away, Heather.
Thank you, Alyssa. I appreciate that great introduction. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and we'll get started. So thank you so much for joining. I really appreciate everybody being here today, and I hope you're all safe and healthy. So Meet the Experts, we're going to talk a little bit about Gmail transformation and transforming your virtual workspace. If you haven't taken this training before, my name is Heather Summers. I am the Digital Transformation Manager here at SADA, and I help companies transform their workflows to use the G Suite tools more productively. If you haven't seen our Gmail before, we're going to look a little bit at working with Gmail, how to prioritize your emails, and then search for emails and then organize your emails. I'm going to go ahead and jump right into my demo here, and I've got my email up, so we're going to go ahead and jump right into my demo account. So here inside of my email, I want to go ahead and show you where the help is. So over here in the right hand side next to what's called our apps launcher, you'll see a circle with a question mark. That circle with the question mark has our help and our training. So don't feel like you have to write down everything that I'm saying. You can go ahead and check out the training here, and we have information exactly about how to move from Outlook and how to get started with Gmail. There's also help under this circle with the question mark, and inside the help, you can ask questions. So I'm going to show you how to search inside of Gmail, because the biggest thing that everyone says is, I can't find an email, right? How do I find an email? I want to show you here inside the help what are called search operators. Search operators can help you find things inside your email. So you can see here, I can do from : to : cc : and so on. If I go down to the bottom, you can see here, open in a new window, and this way I can print those search operators. And then the way that I print is I just right click and I can go to print. But let's say you're searching just regularly. If you go here to the center of your screen, you'll see with a little magnifying glass that you can search. So Robert Robato is one of my colleagues here on my demo account, and I can search for him like so, and I see all the emails that came from him or to him. Now, if I want to narrow down my search, I can just keep adding in information. So like Dunkin' Donuts, and I got to spell donuts correctly, and that will keep narrowing down my search. As I go through here, I can see that all the emails that came to and from Robert. Now, this is just one way to search. If I want to narrow down my search even further, I can use what's called the advanced search form. To access the advanced search form, I just click on the down arrow, and here I can see the advanced search form. So for instance, if I wanted emails from Robert, I can cut them out of this has the words and put it here in the from. Now, the exciting thing about this is has the words. This searches not only the subject of the email, but in the body of the email and also in any attachments that I might have. So here, if I go to search, it narrowed down my search to the emails that I'm looking for. I can even search for a particular date, a particular set of dates. So here it's a week or a month or a month. And I can also narrow down by a particular date, so within this date. The other thing that I can do is create a filter. Let's say that, as you can see, Robert is my boss, and I want all emails from him to be flagged with this label. I'm going to delete the label over here and recreate it using what's called a filter. So over here on the left, you see the 3 little dots, and I can delete this label. And notice these emails do not disappear. So this is the difference for us between folders and labels. I can put as many labels as I want, as you can see here, onto an email. But if I delete the label, it doesn't delete the email. So up here at the top, I'm going to go ahead and do my Robert Roberto again. So Robert. And I just want things from him to be labeled with that boss label. So I'm going to go ahead and create a filter. And then here I can go ahead and create my label. If I wanted these items to skip my inbox, I could skip it doing this, skipping the inbox. And here I'll go ahead and create a new label. I'm going to call it boss. And then down here at the bottom, I'm going to apply the filter to 23 matching conversations. And now you can see those emails. Over here on the left, you can see that I have my boss label. And these are the emails that fit inside the boss label. And now I can go to this boss label, go to those 3 little dots, and I'll go ahead and color my label so that I can see them in the future. So there's the green label there. And this way I can prioritize my email and see the emails that I'm looking for. You can also narrow down your emails in your search by doing this here. These are chips, and I can narrow this down here to Robert. I can exclude social, exclude promotions, and then if I say advanced search, it opens up that advanced search form again for me. So I'm going to go ahead and go to my email here on the left. That will reset my search. Now you saw me apply a label using the filters, but what if I want to apply a label a different way? So here's an email from Angela, is I can go ahead and drag her to the Angela label, or I can drag the Angela label onto her. So you have 2 ways to use those labels. I can also open up the email, and on my action toolbar, I have a couple options. One is I can label this as many times as I need, using my labels from the list. I can even type into the list and it will jump to the label that I'm looking for. The other thing that I can do is I can also apply these labels, and here you can see the different labels. If I decide for any reason I don't need a label, I can click on the X next to each label. If I want to label it and put it into that label and take it out of my inbox, watch this inbox label right here. I can go ahead and archive it, and it's a little different than in Outlook. When we did in Outlook, you actually archived something and it saved it onto the desktop and created what was called a personal storage table. Here, if I archive something, all it does is take away that inbox label, like so. And where does it go? It's over here under More, inside of All Mail. Now, another little bit of a paradigm shift is inside of Outlook, all of your email physically goes into your inbox, and just like a dealer in poker, you would move those emails to the appropriate places. Here, what happens is that the emails go into your All Mail, and then they have an inbox label on them. So watch here again in the right-hand corner. Up here at the top on my action toolbar, there is a Move to Inbox button, and I can click on that Move to Inbox, and now that same email has the inbox label on it. So to me, I almost think of this like a mirror of the items that are in your All Mail. So as you get rid of these labels or add more labels, those appear in all those different places. So here you can see it's in Angela, in G Suite, and in Nikki. If I go look on the Angela label, there's the email. If I look in the G Suite label, there's the email. And if I look in the Nikki email or label, there's the email. So all of them are located in those different places. Now, we went ahead and created the labels and we did our search, but what other ways can we find emails that are important to us? So here on the left-hand side, you're going to see a little star next to my emails, and I can star things in here. Inside of my settings, I can pick up to 12 different labels. I've only picked 4 here, as you can see. And each of those labels, using my search operators, I can narrow down my search and find the item that has been labeled. So for instance, I can say is starred, and then I can say has red thing. And what that does, it gives me the exact emails that I'm looking for that have that red exclamation point. Now, the other thing that I can do is I can go over here to the left-hand side to my inbox, and I can have my starred emails appear at the top of my inbox. So here you can see starred first, and this shows all my starred emails, and then the rest of my emails down below. The other option I have to indicate something is important to me is what's called importance flags. Importance flags can be turned on or off just by clicking on the flag. Now, these use artificial intelligence, and what happens is if you open an email right away, it assumes it's important to you, and if you don't open an email, it assumes it's not important to you. But you can teach Google what is important or not important by unclicking the ones that are not important and clicking the ones that are important. So the ones for my boss obviously are important. The other ones aren't as important to me. And after you do this after a day or two, then Google learns, oh, the Robert ones are important. And just like we saw with the starred over here on the left where it says inbox, I can go ahead and move the important emails up to the top, or I can go ahead and choose to put the important, starred, and unread up at the top. And that's called the priority inbox. So I can do unread, important, and starred up at the top. And now as I scroll down, you can see that those are up at the top and everything else is down below. Now, if I have more messages than are visible, I can always click here and then I can click through those different messages with my arrows. Now, the other thing that I can do is here inside my inbox, I can also say I want my unread messages to be first. And then you can do something called multiple inbox, which allows you to pick which folders and items that you want up at the top. So there's lots of options to prioritize your emails depending on what you need. If you want to change any of these things, you'll find those under the settings gear. So here inside of the settings gear where it says settings, you can customize your inbox to do what you need. So here I can go to settings and then I can put those different stars in any order that I'd like just by dragging and dropping the stars here. And then you have to save inside of your settings. There is no other place where it asks you to save, but here inside of the settings. You can also go to the settings gear and go to settings. And if you have a filter that you did not like, you can always delete or edit it inside of your settings. And then the other thing is inside of the inbox tab here, you can set up that priority inbox. So you can see here it says sections is draft. I can say is starred, is important, and so forth. So I can pick how my multiple inbox is arranged. And then here you see the priority inbox, starred, unread, first, and default. So you can customize this here too. If you don't like the importance marker, you can always say no markers, and that will turn off the importance flags for you. Now, the last thing I want to show you is what's called the sidebar. So over here on the right-hand side, you can see that there is a little arrow here that will hide or show the sidebar. And here inside the sidebar, I can go ahead and have my calendar visible at all times. I can use what's called Google Keep, which is kind of like sticky notes where you can make a note for actions that you need to perform. And then inside of tasks is where you can put in tasks that you need to perform. So over here on the left, you can see the plus sign. Over here on the right, you can see the tasks. So options for you to go ahead and complete. I want to go ahead and leave time for questions. So I'm going to go ahead and bring back my presentation, make sure we have our questions in there. And I've got a question here that says, if I delete a label from the email, does it delete the email inside? And no, it does not. So if you were to delete a label, the emails do stay inside your inbox. They just won't have the label on it anymore. Can I use an importance flag when sending emails to flag the recipient's attention? Unfortunately not. We do not have the type of flags you saw in Outlook that warned the other person that this was an important email. Our importance flags are only visible to you as the person who owns the email account. Can I manually select what emails are important to me instead of Google deciding? Yes, the importance flags can be turned on or off, and you can set their importance using that on and off option. You don't see any importance flags next to your messages, and that's because, again, our importance flags are only available for you internally for the message. But if you don't see them next to your emails, you can go into the settings gear, go to the inbox tab, and you can turn them on or off from there. If you rewind the video, you'll see that I talked about that toward the end of our demo. If I delete an email, will it still keep the labels on it? No. So if you delete the email, the labels will disappear from that email, but the labels are still around. They'll still appear on the left-hand side of your screen. So the labels do not disappear entirely, but they do disappear with that message, though. So if you delete the email, you won't see the labels akin to that email any longer. I think this is a question now is how can I change the colors of my labels? So on the labels on the left-hand side, there are 3 little dots, which are vertical ellipses. You can click on those, and inside of there is a menu where you can change the color of it. If you back up the video just a few minutes, you'll find where I demonstrated how to change the color of the labels. This is a great question. So my inbox is completely overwhelming. Suggestions on where to start with my 7,000 messages. And they said, yes, I am blushing. So 7,000 messages. Wow. Okay. So there, what you can do is there's a couple different books about email organization, and one is called Getting Things Done. And what he suggests in that book is if you want to address things, you want to treat it like every email that you look at, if you can do something with it, you want to go ahead and send it, go ahead and take care of that within at least 20 seconds or a minute. If you can't do it yourself, at that time, then you can snooze it. We have a snooze thing, which we'll talk about in our next session, where you can snooze an email to come back into your inbox. The author of that book, Getting Things Done, is David Allen. The other option that you have is that you can send that email to a person who can handle it and then get it out of your inbox. I personally use the option of marking things as unread if I need to do something with them. If I've read the message, that tells me I've done something with it. And then I do the archive button that I demonstrated inside of the email, and that just hides it from my inbox and still leaves it in my all mail so I can still search for it. What is a promotions label? And if I delete the contents, will it delete those emails in other labels they are under? No. So if you delete the email inside of your permissions label, ooh, that's a good question. If you delete the email inside of your permissions label, will it delete them in other places? I believe yes, because you're deleting the email. You can take them out of the promotions tab, and that's under the settings gear. And if you go to the settings gear and turn on the tabbed inbox, you can then delete them from the promotions tab from there. If you delete them under the label, I believe that will delete the emails also. So something to be aware of is that we have a thing called a tabbed inbox. Again, we'll talk about it in our next session about some cool tips and tricks for our emails. And what I would recommend in that situation is to go to the settings gear, turn on the configure inbox option, and then you can go ahead and delete the emails out of there under the promotions tab. It's using artificial intelligence, so it learns. And if you delete them from the promotions tab, it won't put them under there again. Can I create sub-labels and how deep? So I think there's a limit to labels of 2,000 labels. I believe that's the same for sub-labels. You can create sub-labels inside of your Gmail, and you can do that within that little tab you saw, or then when you create a label, you can also say what label you want to sub-label that label to. There was an option there, and I apologize if I didn't illustrate it enough. Is there a way to sort the inbox from rather than date and rather than using the search? So they want to sort it by from, and unfortunately we don't have that ability. You can only do it with search. You can sort by date in the upper right hand corner where the date is, but you can't do it unfortunately by from. Why would I archive instead of delete? So if you archive a message inside of your Gmail, you're still able to search for it and find it, but you unfortunately do not have the ability to find it again if you delete it. Most companies have a 30-day retention policy on their trash. If you're using a personal consumer email, it deletes right away. And so it can't be recovered. Why would I archive in, okay, we already did that. Can I create labels in my sent mail? Yeah, no, sorry. You cannot in your sent mail per se. You can create labels and attach them. I think you can attach them in your sent mail. Let me see. You can create labels anywhere, but yes, I can. I can put messages, labels on my sent mail. Yes, I can do that. You will have in the sent mail, it also appears in your all mail. So you can still find your emails that way. There's a lot of questions on email. This is exciting. How do I check my spam folder? So on the left-hand side of your screen, there is a spam option. And I was trying not to open my email, but I'm gonna show you that one because I didn't illustrate that for you. But over here on the left-hand side, you have a spam option under More, and you can see the spam over there. I was trying to be really good and stay out of my email. So, but that I never showed you. So it's over here on the left. If you want to mark a message as spammed, there is a spam button on your action toolbar. And those have all been a bunch of really great questions. I'm going to go ahead and go back to my slides. I want to thank everyone for attending this session. Our next upcoming live stream question is on April 23rd at 10 a.m. Pacific time, 1 p.m. Eastern. On that one, we're going to talk about Google Sheets. This is kind of a beginner sort of idea. So how to use Google Sheets, how to create one, how to create simple functions and formulas. So we'll cover that on our next session. I want to also talk to you a little bit about a kind of exciting thing that's going on at Google, and we are doing our own help with this. Is Google is offering a Google Meet, Chat, and Drive for new customers, and you can take advantage of this offer until September 30th. And all of the services are free until September 30th. If you need help going ahead and setting this up and taking advantage of this offer, feel free to reach out to us. We have a quick start program that will help you get up and running with this offer. Thank you so much for joining today. It's always a pleasure to spend this time with you. Hopefully you have checked out our new Cloud Quarters website that has all of these live stream videos and other relevant information that you can use to be more productive and collaborative in your new work environment that you're having to work in. We really hope that you're all safe and healthy, and we will be providing you with a link to this survey if you went ahead and signed up with your email. Also, if you have any questions that I didn't answer, feel free to submit those through the feedback, and we'll address those in future sessions. And you can also recommend what future sessions you might be interested in. So I want to thank you again for attending today. It's always a pleasure to spend this time with you.